It is the final game, and I guess there's an awful lot there to be kind of pleased and proud about, bearing in mind you came through a hell of a scrape.
Yeah, I think in a different way, because obviously you don't want it, ideally, to end up a kind of, fighting to get over the line and pushing every game to get over the line. But that's been the kind of season it's been this season. And, I've mentioned many times every season's a restart for us, and this one's been a big season for different reasons. It's well documented. I'm not going to go on about it again. But a big season for different reasons, and we have come through it. And I'm very pleased with that. Pleased for the club and very proud of the players, because it is difficult when you're down there around that Christmas period, and the noise starts building about your lack of results and players as well, not just me as a manager, but players as well. And are they doing this? Are they doing that? And I think they've seen through that well and delivered very good performances on the second half of the season. So yeah, definitely proud of what they've achieved this season in a different kind of way. And
once again, prove people wrong.
I don't think it's about that. I think it's we've been proving ourselves right for a long time here. Certainly it's fair to say we're very rarely favourites. I think one season, to be fair, when we went back up from the Championship, I think we'd certainly be in the top 3 or 4 that season to be considered a chance of going back up. Every other season, more or less, we're not favourites, that's for sure. And we just keep making sense of it. We've found a way again, and we continue to find different ways of operating and trying to get the right outcome, which is certainly to be in the Premier League.
Ashley Westwood sat there 10 or 15 minutes ago. Does he typify what you do well at Burnley in terms of finding a diamond that people didn't think was a diamond and suddenly becomes one?
I think he's done brilliant, Westy, because, he come out of Villa and it's hard. They're having a real tough time, and he'd had a personally tough time there. There's always someone who gets the stick, and he was getting a bit at that time. And probably 2 or 3 years of tough times at Villa. And to come here, I think he's had to sort of refine himself, not really rejuvenate himself, because he trains brilliant pro, trains exceptionally well, good around the place, etc., etc. But just to almost refine himself, as a footballer, he's a very good player. And a lot of credit goes to the fact that he came back last pre-season absolutely super fit, and it's paid him back over the season. He's played a lot of football, and it's paid him back. He's got stronger and stronger and stronger as the season has gone on, and deserved to pick up his awards the other night. He deserved that, because he's been certainly a big part of making sure that we've done what we've done this season to be in the Premier League. And probably not under the radar to me, of course, but the noise around the turnaround about changing different positions. But he'd been in the team anyway, and his form has been certainly a big part of the change from Christmas onwards, and a good season from him.
But I mean, that's what the process entails. Isn't just getting points and staying in the Premier League. It's improving players too. You do that, don't you?
Well, we like to think so. We like to think the environment, the culture that we set, some of what we'd offer as coaching team and manager, of course, But I think there's more to it. I think all the staff, that's the idea. I've always made it clear we're there for them. It's not about me anymore. It's all my staff. We've had our day. Woney still thinks he's got a bit, but I've certainly had my day. And I've always thought, when I went into coaching, I thought, what can I give them? What can I help them with that will give them a better, it's not necessarily a better future. So we've got great futures in front of them, and they've had good past, but more tools to work with, I would say. More information that will help them as individuals, and therefore the team, and therefore the success that comes from that. So I'm just pleased that we've rubbed off on enough people over the years that I've been here, and we continue to do so.
Without going into too much analysis, the guy I spoke to this morning said that you were demanding as a player, and as a manager, almost managed the player that you thought you were, in the sense that you're trying to ask the questions.
Yeah, I was demanding of myself as a player and those around me, but always for the good of the team. I was always a team player. When you're younger, of course, you're fighting for your own self-worth, and you want to be a player, and you want to make sure you're getting a career. But as I got older and more mature in the game, certainly from mid-20s, I was then real big on the team thing, because I knew without the team, there's no point to it. We're not going to gain anything. And I think I've taken some of that player influence, or my belief in being a player and influencing others, as well as myself, of course. I think I've taken some of that into my coaching as well. And I think, like every coach manager, if you combine your own feelings about what it is to be a player with the modern, idea of all the courses, I've done all the courses, badges, etc., then I think if you combine that and you wrap it around all the experiences you've had, or some of the experience you've had, then it helps you. And I think that's all I look to do. I try and look at it in a logical format and apply it when I can, whether it's working with individuals or the team.
You've spoken about the record profits and the financial sort of health of the club. Does that allow you to keep hold of people? I mean, I'll ask you questions about who you might get, but in terms of other people looking at your players, are you in a more...
Yeah, certainly. The club's in a super strong position financially. It's probably the opposite side of it, and how much are we going to stretch to make sure we're improving? As you rightly mentioned, I feel that we've improved internally with some of the players we've got, not all, but a lot have improved, I think, in their performances. And of course, their experience, their know-how, etc., etc. How can we bolster that? How can we add to that? How can we improve it from the outside looking in? So regarding people coming for our players, then I think we're very strong. Regarding going out and getting other people's players, then that's something that needs work. Because as we've spoken about many times, the market doesn't care. The market doesn't care about Burnley's business model. It doesn't give two hoots. It's like, well, yeah, you do what you want, but if you want anything outside of your world, you're going to have to pay whatever it is. And I think that's the next challenge for the club, to understand that it's going to be very, very difficult to keep working in the market and the way that we've been working to move forward and be successful. Of course, you can do it, but it's adding that magic word of success. That's the bit that gets tricky.
So does the philosophy stay the same, or do you get the United Nations in this summer?
No, I think it's. I think we've got a bit more depth again. We're looking to build year on year, some of which people don't see, obviously. And in this case, with the recruitment department, we're looking to add more layers to it, which we've done. When that becomes effective, it's still, I mentioned it many times, it's still got to be that situation where when you think of Burnley Football Club and you think of how many players from, farther around the world go to clubs for astronomical fees sometimes, not always, but biggish fees, and then disappear. You don't really hear about the disappearing bit. Well, this club wants the disappearing bit to be good, and that disappearing bit is usually they move for more onwards than less. That's always a risk and reward scenario, unless you've got all of the background needed into Europe. And now we're growing with that. We haven't got it all, but we are getting more depth to our knowledge in the European scene. So I think that opens up, hopefully, more avenues in Europe. But in the meantime, we shop in the markets that we know. We make sure that we know the players we're bringing in, and we think there's certainly a balanced chance that they do well for us, of course, and then they're a saleable asset in the future if and when that's needed.
Gary Cahill's been mentioned as a player this week. I'm sure you're not going to tell me
yes. It's already started again. It always does. It's ongoing for us. We look at quality players. We try and keep an eye on the market. We try and find the right ones who fit us as a team and the business model, of course, and the right age, etc., etc. Right pay scales, all of that. It's not easy. It's not easy. It narrows down your market quite significantly when you try and tick every box, and that's what we attempt to do here. That's what the chairman wants, the board want. It's difficult. It's very difficult.
And in terms of Arsenal, you've got loads of good results against most of the big guns. You just haven't got the big result in terms of a win against Arsenal, really.
Well, I'd say there's been a couple of interesting moments that have probably helped that not happen. No, I mean, look, fantastic for them, by the way. Congratulations to them, of course, from last night. And, an odd, strong season, actually. Not easy to take over for the new manager, for sure. Legend in Arsene Wenger, outstanding manager. Not easy that in the first place. Moulding the team slightly differently, similar but different, I would say. And then trying to find success. And away from home is probably what I imagine the manager will be wondering, because they've been a bit up and down. We still know they're a very fine side. We still know they've got very good individuals. Just piecing it together seems to be less easy than it has been at home. Not any game's easy, but you understand the train of thought. But got to Europa final. So, if they win that and finish well, then good from them all round. We can only bother ourselves with our last game. We want to deliver a performance. We want to beat a top side again, and it's not that easy, but that's what we want to do.
And say thank you to the fans. I know we talked
of course. They've been terrific this year. It's been really difficult. It's been an odd kind of year, and I think even at our lowest ebb this year, they've still been there. There's not been too much negativity around it. They've backed the team, even when they've had harsh results. There's not been too much in the way of real hard negativity. I think they've stayed with it, home and away, and I think. I'd like to think they've come to realise that the worst they get is a team that give everything. And I've always thought as a supporter, it's not a bad start point. Of course, if you can layer that up with a bit of style and good play and all the rest of it, which we can sometimes, we can't all the time. But they still want results. Football fans, still want results. They still want their team to be winning, or in our case in the Premier League, winning enough to continue the journey, which we have done. And I think they respect that. I think there's an honesty to this, the people of Burnley and the crowd, and I think they get the business model. They understand the club, which is not easy for fans nowadays. I really mean that. I think it's hard. Fans, there's so much goes on. There's so many different viewpoints. There's so many different media streams. There's so many different ways that fan bases can be swerved one way or the other. It's sometimes hard to just stick with the truth of a club. And I think Burnley fans generally stick with the truth of the club. What it is, we're honest in our information. This is what the club is. This is what we have to do. And we'll try and move it forward for you. And I think that all starts with a team that give everything. And I think this team do give everything. And I think they've got their rewards from the fans by their support and some great results in the second half of the season to make sure we're in the Premier League.
Housekeeping-wise, injuries? Anyone coming back into the fold? Or?
Yeah, good. It's funny everyone's fit at the end of the season. It's always an interesting one I always find. Yeah, I always look a bit leaner and a bit fitter at the end of the season.
And next season you're going to have fully fit Stephen Defoe, clearly.
Well, we hope so. He's making very good progress. Yeah, he's making very good progress. Yeah, I speak to him just to keep in touch with him because he's been over to Belgium on and off with the specialist there. We've got very good communication there. We like what they do there, and that's working for him. As is actually fit, but it's one of them. You think, well, I don't see me throwing him into a game when he's not even had a game, but he's fitting well. And he's trained with us today. He's trained the last couple of sessions, full training with us, which is good. And everyone else, I'm pretty sure. Bardo's good. I think that's it.
Just to find out, was that?
Otaki had a baby this week. He didn't.
No, I was going to say.
That would be a story. That would be a story, yeah. But no, he's had a little, and so we'll make a decision on that because he's missed a few days training.
It's obviously been a big week for him. And in terms of the week and European perspective, has that been one of the greatest weeks of kind of football? And
it's certainly been a thrilling week, that's for sure. I think we've all enjoyed that. All of the madness, the glory, the amazing side of it, the downside for some, of course, which has been harsh. But no, I mean, incredible viewing, I think, this week for all, and a great reminder of what football's about. There's a lot, obviously, the gloss, the glam, and the money, all of that. But sometimes it's just the earthiness of getting results, and I think it's been a joy at times to watch over the last few weeks. Last week, sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
I'll just ask, is there a chance of Lennon being involved this time, or is it?
No, that's what I'm saying. I think it'd be too risky to just throw him in out of nowhere. He's not even had, even if we had a behind closed doors game or a training game. So I'm not envisaging that. But he is well. He's fit. He's feeling good. So I'm mainly pleased with that. And I think a pre-season are doing good, of course.
And last week with Barnsley, was he available at that point on the squad?
No, he was available last week. Yeah, and he'll be available again this week.
You're probably owed one by Arsenal, aren't you, after the couple of near misses over the last...
Well, I don't know whether we're owed one, but we've had a few interesting decisions that have gone against us late in games, that's for sure. I'm not sure it exactly owes you one, but we hope it's more about a game and not decisions, of course. We just want to get on with the performance. And the main thing to me is finish strong performance-wise, because I think we've done that in the second half of the season. A couple of blips, but mainly been good performances. And if we can get a result on the back of that, then of course it's always good to beat the top teams, that's for sure, and particularly at home.
And nice, obviously, to end the season on a positive note and go off into the summer with 3 points and a...
Well, I think it's impossible to not end on a positive note because of what's happened in the second half of the season. It's been such a big challenge this season. So I think it'll be positive anyway. But I think just the feel-good factor of that last game and a last result, I think it's good for all.
And you mentioned then about the summer and sort of looking to add and to strengthen as you always do. Is it a case of a little bit of patience is going to be needed as well? Because you know what it's like these days in terms
It's always patience at Burnley, trust me. Never things get done quickly here. That's one thing that is a definite. Everything takes time here, that's for sure.
But that's about you guys doing your homework and your due diligence and everything.
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's the market that you're in. The deals you see get done, if you look at them, are not always, but often big deals where money almost becomes no object. That's certainly not our world. So sometimes you have to work in the market, you have to be patient, you have to be diligent, you have to wait, you have to, you're not always first choice. A player might be looking elsewhere, but they miss out on something and then you might get them, etc., etc. It's not a downside, it's not doing anything other than just being business-minded, and I think that's what we do.
And I suppose you've got to strike a balance of bringing in players such as Westy and Taki and from a championship level who can make the step up, and bringing in proven Premier League experience like we did with Corky, for example.
Yeah, I mean, if we can add the sprinkling of players who have played in the Premier League previously, I think that's always a benefit because obviously it gives the knowledge of the side more strength. We still do like some of the younger players, obviously Dwight's an obvious one this year. But even the players we've got, as you mentioned, he was mentioning about Westy. Westy's still improving and developing, certainly this season, clear signs of that. And and I think that's good. I think that's good. I like seeing that. My development as a player when I was 30 plus was through diet. We had a fantastic dietitian who taught me so much about extending my career, looking after myself. That was my version of it. But there's others now. Tactical awareness. The dedication to your discipline as being a pro, that can enhance. And there's different things, and I think West is a good example of that. I think he's improved again this season, and I think it shows it's irrelevant of age. He's not old by any means, but he's not a newcomer, and he's still looking for them inches to develop. So I'm happy with that mindset across the board.
You mentioned Dwight then. He's obviously come through from the 23s this season. You've had a few more sprinkled into the bench, sometimes maybe through necessity than development, but a bit of both. You were at the 23s game on Tuesday night. Does that sort of group give you a bit of confidence that some of those can come through?
I think there's a few got a bit to go yet. But I think the main thing is Dwight's been a shining light for the system, if you like, because all players believe, and then you're waiting for the chance. And I think it's really, really difficult to play young players in the Premier League, particularly. Because people forget fans are not as tolerant as they used to be. Fans want everything now. So if you're a young player, the tolerance level is not that long. You better be performing straight away, because if you're not, you're going to get a bit, and then the manager gets a bit for why you're playing them. The irony of, playing a young player. We're playing a developer, and why are you playing them? They're not good enough. Well, are they going to be good enough unless they play? So it's always that. Fortunately, in Dwight's case, he's delivered straight away. As soon as he got a look in, he's delivered. And that's bought him time. And therefore, while he's been delivering, all the other younger players, they believe a bit more. They all look up and think, yeah, okay, well, he's done it, so why can't I? And I think that just really enhances the idea of young players playing at Burnley Football Club and in the Premier League at large. So I think it's a good thing.
And just lastly, on a couple of people who are out of contract, obviously Peter Crouch, I think, talks for after the season.
Yeah, Crouch has been injured, obviously. No fault of his or ours or any of that, but we'll be talking with him, yeah.
And Phil Bardsley, is he in contract?
Yeah, his contract gets renewed again.
And Stephen Ward,
Ward is out of contract. Yeah, Ward is out of contract.
And have you got an option on that or anything? Or?
No.
So it's
he's out of contract.
A case of end of the season discussions.
Yeah.
And one more, the goalkeeper situation, bit of speculation. I know you love your speculation.
It's your speculation, not mine.
It's not mine. With Joe Hart.
Whose is it then?
National newspapers.
Oh, okay. All right. Because normally if someone says the internet, I go, well, that's always right.
Obviously linking Joe Hart with moves elsewhere. Do you anticipate, if the deal's right, to be done for yourselves and for the player, that one of those goalkeepers might have to, the three sort of senior ones?
I think it's probable, but not definite.
Well, that's cleared that up. Thank you.
Okay, Alex?
Yeah.
Cameras off then, please.